that cobbler's pose or bound angle. And just when you find a comfortable position, see if you can relax the knees down. We'll be here for just a little bit. And then close the eyes. If you want to interlace the hands over the toes, you can. You can rest the arms on top of the knees. And then start to find the breath. And because we're in a pose where we're already activating those inner leg muscles, it may take a little bit more to find that relaxation. So just do the best you can, seeing where you can just let those muscles go. And if you're finding that the muscles are starting to tighten or tense, try bringing the feet away from you a little bit. But you want to find that ease or that relaxation in the pose. And then once you've got that, close the eyes or bring the gaze down. Just starting to go inside. Noticing what's going on in this early morning body. Observing the quality of the breath. Checking in with the facial muscles, softening those. Relaxing the neck and shoulders. Relaxing the arms, the torso. The belly and the hips. And even though the legs are activated, see where you can find that ease, where you can relax those legs. And even the feet and ankles. We're going to be focusing a little bit on the ankles this morning. And see if you can feel grounded onto your mat. Sitting bones are in contact with the mat. Checking in with that low spine. And then come back to the breath. Looking for that rhythmic ebb and flow of the inhales and exhales. Trying to bring the air in and out of the nostrils. Or if you're feeling congested, try to bring the air in through the nostrils and out of the mouth. I'm looking for that slightly deeper breath than you started with. Feeling the lungs expand, the belly expand on the inhales. And that softness or light contraction on the exhales. Take a few more breaths here to set your intention. What would you like to get out of today's practice? And how will you approach the rest of your day? Few more breaths here. Slowly blink the eyes open or bring the gaze forward. And bring your focus to your feet. And we're just going to try and peel the feet open a little bit. So the pinky toe edge is trying to stay together as you're trying to bring the rest of the feet out like a book. And you may have a lot of range here, you may have very little. And just hold the foot as you pry it open, finding its natural stopping point. And this is really about ankle flexibility more than the feet. And then release the feet, allow the feet to press into one another. You can interlace the fingers around the toes, lengthening the spine. If it feels okay, you can start to fold forward a little bit with the torso. Although because we're not warmed up, just be mindful of how tight you are in those inner leg muscles. Couple breaths here. And then slowly bring the torso back to that natural or center position. If you've got the blocks, go ahead and come off the block or put the blocks off to the side. And then scoop the legs together, finding your balance on your sitting bones. So you may want to plant the hands, and we're going to lift the legs up, putting our hands under the knees or the thighs, and then point and flex the feet a few times. Rotate the ankles in one direction and in the other direction. Bringing those feet back to stillness, point and flex a couple more times. And then release the feet onto the mat. And we're going to take all of our fingers and bring them between the toes, spreading the toes a little bit. You can kind of work the fingers to wrap around the ball of the foot. And just take a few breaths here. You can even do a light squeeze with the fingers into the foot. Just getting the circulation going, maybe feeling how cold your toes are. Take one more inhale here. And on the exhale, slowly release the fingers, bringing them out of the feet. And then we're going to come into a table position to do a few cat-cow variations. So once you've found your way onto table, just make sure the fingers are spread wide, palms are pressing in. We're going to curl the toes under as we come into a cow back, dropping the belly slightly, lifting head, chest, tailbone. When we come into cat back, rounding that upper back, we're going to bring the tops of the feet onto the mat. So we're going to start to alternate between curling the toes under as we come into cow and releasing the feet onto the mat as you come into cat. Alternating between this cat and cow. Trying to get as much space as possible between the toes when you curl them under. And also getting space between the shoulders and the ears. One more cow. One more cat. And then come back to a center position and grab one or two of your blocks. And we're going to use the blocks between the legs, but in the wide position. So you're just going to support your hips. And you may be somebody who has a lot of hip flexibility and you don't need the blocks, but I'm guessing most of us will need the blocks. Once you've got the blocks in position right between the ankles, give the ankles a little push into the blocks as you try to bring the hips onto the blocks. Going very slowly here. You can have the toes curled under, or if it feels better, you can have the feet flat, the tops of the feet on the mat. But wherever you are at, you really want to bring those ankles into the blocks. Because what you're doing is activating the legs, and the ankles, the feet are all connected to the hips. So the more supple and flexible the feet are, the more supple and flexible the hips will be. So we're just going to take a few breaths here. You can place the hands on top of the legs, lengthening the torso, lengthening the spine, and even roll the shoulders back and down. Couple breaths here. Keep that light squeeze of the ankles into the blocks. It's easy to release it. And then start to bring the hands behind you. We're going to walk the hands just to the point of sensation in those upper legs. You want to make sure you're not arching that low spine too much. Draw the shoulder blades together, squeeze the ankles into the blocks, maybe taking a look up. Take one more inhale here, and on the exhale, slowly walk the hands in front of you. We're going to remove the blocks and come into a child's pose. So pushing the hips back, reaching the arms forward. Few breaths here. On an inhale, look forward. You're going to come through table, curling the toes under, and you've got the option of lifting the knees, hovering them as you press the heels back. Taking another breath or two here, or if you're ready, you can come into down dog. Wherever you're at, start to pedal the feet, easing into this. And taking a little bit of time this morning to pedal those feet, feeling the sides of the torso lengthen. And then we'll come to a still down dog. Taking a few breaths here, checking in. Kneecaps are slightly lifted, torso is as long as you can get it. Neck is right in line with the spine. And then gently shake the head, yes and no. Coming to a still position, really pressing those palms in, a little more weight in that index finger and thumb. Inhale to look forward. Walk the feet right up to the hands. Coming into a forward fold. Shaking out head, neck, and shoulders. If you would like your blocks here, we are going to do a little bit of a rock, heel to toe, but in the forward fold. If you can't reach the floor, it may be a nice support to have the blocks under the hands. And you can put them on any setting. Once you've got your hands planted on the mat or the blocks, go ahead and start to rock heel to toe, keeping at least a micro bend in the knees. You don't want to lock the knees out. Couple more rocks, heel to toe. And the feet are pretty close together. Next time you come onto the toes, hold there. Put a little more bend in the knees. Coming into almost a squat. And then see if you can find your balance and bring the arms slowly overhead. Once your arms are overhead, plant the feet. Release the arms in a nice big circle. Bringing the hands over the heart center. From here, we're going to come back into that squat. You have the option of keeping the feet flat on the mat or coming back onto your tiptoes. Wherever you're at, we're going to drop the hips back, putting a bend in the knees, and then sweep the arms forward. Sweep the arms back, sweep the arms forward, coming back to that standing position. Take an inhale here. Bringing the hands together, and on the exhale, come over to the left. Inhale to center, come over to the right. Inhale back to center, drop those palms over the crown of the head, getting that upper arm stretch. And when we do this upper arm stretch, you can actually try and bring the elbows towards each other. Little bit of a squeeze. Inhale to press the palms up. And on the exhale, drop the palms over the heart center. Couple breaths here. Take one more inhale with those fingertips up. And on the exhale, flip the fingers down. Inhale to flip them up. And on the exhale, release the hands, shake them out. And then we're going to activate the lats by bringing one hand behind the crown of the head, drawing the elbow back slightly, and then press the head into the hand and the hand into the head. And for those of you who do any activity where you need to activate the lats, this is a way to do it before that activity, like rowing or tennis or swimming, just to name a few. One more inhale here. And on the exhale, release that side, that arm, and we'll do the other side, bringing the hand to the head, light press of the head into the hand, light press of the hand into the head. And you should feel a nice activation on the lat muscle. If you're not feeling it, try pressing just slightly harder, but be mindful that the head and neck may not like this, so you'll need to back out. Big inhale here. And on the exhale, release the hands, shake out the hands. And then we're going to do a few circles with the arms, just starting to warm up the shoulders a little bit, finding that hip width stance. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, palms come over the heart center. Each time we bring those arms back, see if you can open the shoulders just a little bit more. Only if it feels okay on those shoulders. One more time, circling those arms. This time when we bring the arms back, we're going to interlace the fingers, drawing the knuckles towards the mat, shoulder blades towards each other. Take a look up at the ceiling. Think about engaging those low belly muscles, core muscles. Take one more inhale here. And on the exhale, keeping that interlace if it feels okay. You can also just release that interlace. We're going to start to shift the hips back, coming back into that chair pose with those arms behind us. And again, modification is just having the palms face one another. Take an inhale as you slowly start to straighten the legs, tipping forward into a forward fold, maybe keeping those arms or fingers interlaced, maybe releasing the hands or dropping the arms and hands onto the mat. Wherever you're at in the forward fold, we're going to bring the arms overhead or behind us. Sweep the arms back up to standing. This time, grab the elbows, hip width stance. Take an inhale here. Exhale to one side. Inhale to center. Exhale over to the other side. Inhale to center. Release the arms. Shake them out. And then we're going to take that right hand and bring it over to the left hip, interlacing the hands again. Try to pin that left elbow back. Taking a breath or two here. If you want to get into the right scalene muscles, those muscles on the side of the neck, start to dip the chin towards that left shoulder. Inhale to bring the chin up. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, up. And then slowly bring the head back to center. Take a breath or two here. And we'll go over to the other side. Releasing the arms, shaking them out. Left hand comes to right hip, maybe interlacing those hands, or maybe just coming into this prayer position works for the hands. Pinning that right elbow back, taking a breath or two here. And then if you want to add that neck stretch, that side stretch, you can dip the chin down. Inhale to bring it up. Few times. And I don't know about you all, but I can really feel a difference side to side on how tight one side is compared to the other. Holding that chin towards the ceiling. Bring the head back to center. Take a breath or two here. And then release the arms on this side. Shake them out. And then just stay in that hip width stance, really rooting that left leg onto the mat. We're going to lift the right knee up, bringing that interlace of the hands in front of the knee, embracing the wobbles. If this feels like too much, you can leave the toes on the mat. You can also come into a modified tree pose. But from here, we're going to do that same flex and point of the right foot. Rotate the ankle in one direction. Rotate it in the other direction. And then bring that foot back to stillness. Find your focal point. Really think about pushing into the big toe mound of the left foot. And then bring the hands interlaced under that right thigh. And bring that right leg out in front of you. Finding that balance. Finding that engagement of the left ankle. One more inhale here. And on the exhale, bend that right knee, plant that right foot next to the left, pedal the feet a couple times, shake out the legs, and we'll come over to the other side. Rooting that right leg down, putting that bend in that left knee, maybe coming into a tree variation. Interlacing the hands in front of the calf, finding that still focal point, and then we'll point and flex that left foot a few times. Rotate the ankle in one direction and in the other direction. Bringing that left foot back to stillness. Interlacing the hands under that left thigh, and then extending the left leg out. Taking a breath or two here. One more inhale here. And on the exhale, release that left leg, pedal the feet a few times. Coming back to that center position. Rooting the feet down, inhale, arms up. Big inhale here. And on the exhale, find your forward fold. Shaking out head, neck, and shoulders. Inhale to come halfway up. Exhale, fold back in. This time we're going to step back to that plank position, coming through the top of the push-up if you choose, maybe dropping the knees down and coming through that way. And if you're coming into up dog, drawing the shoulder blades towards each other and just noticing what the feet are doing. When I come into up dog, I really press the tops of my feet into the mat before I curl or roll over the toes to come into down dog. And then once you're in down dog, go ahead and pedal the feet a few times. To that still down dog. On the next inhale, raise that right leg up. Exhale to step that right foot through to the hands, coming into a low lunge, dropping the hips down, maybe bringing that left knee onto the mat. Keeping the hips as low as you can, we're going to sweep the arms overhead. Bring the palms together, drop the palms over the heart center. We're going to come into a prayer twist. Hooking that left arm over the right leg, pressing the palms together, finding that focal point. Couple breaths here. And then come back to that center position. Hands can be over the heart center. Plant that left hand to the inner right foot. Wave the right arm up. Coming into firefly or dragonfly, bring that right arm as far back as is comfortable on the shoulder. One more inhale here. And on the exhale, windmill that right hand outside of right foot, stepping back to plank, choosing your transition. We'll meet back in down dog. Observe how that right side of the body feels compared to the left. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale to step that left foot through to the hands, dropping the hips down, maybe bringing that right knee onto the mat. Taking a few breaths here. On the next inhale, sweep the arms overhead, coming into that crescent lunge. Exhale, palms come over the heart center, twist to the left. Right arm over left knee. Palms are pressing together. One more inhale here. And on the exhale, palms come back to center. Plant that right hand to inner left foot. Sweep the left arm up. Big inhale here. And on the exhale, windmill the hand outside of that left foot, stepping back to plank, coming through your transition. We'll meet back in down dog. Inhale, right leg up, dropping right foot over left hip to roll the hips open. Inhale, extend the leg out. And on the exhale, step that right foot through to the hands, turning that left foot flat. Inhale, arms up, warrior one. And just check in with the ankles here, seeing what the ankles feel like when you're in this pose. Trying to press all edges of the feet into the mat, noticing what the hips are doing. One more inhale here. And on the exhale, open to the long side of your mat, gazing over the right hand. Flip that right palm up, big inhale here. Exhale to tip it back, coming into peaceful warrior. Feeling that opening on that right side of the torso. One more inhale here. And on the exhale, coming back through that T position, straightening that front leg, lengthen the torso over that leg to tip into triangle. Right hip is drawing back, left hip is drawing forward. Checking in with the ankles here. Checking in with the feet. Big inhale here. And on the exhale, put a bend in that front knee, windmill the hands either side of that front foot. Swivel those back toes to track straight, stepping back to plank. Come through your transition. We'll meet back in down dog. Notice again what that right side feels like compared to the left. And then inhale, left leg up, dropping left foot over right hip, rolling the hips open on this side. Inhale to extend the leg out, and on the exhale, step that left foot through to the hands, turning that right foot flat. Inhale, arms up, warrior one on this side. Left knee is pulling towards that left little toe. Checking in with the feet, the ankles, the hips. Big inhale here. And on the exhale, open to the long side, gazing over the left hand. Feeling that opening of the collarbones, shoulders right over hips. Flip the left palm up, tip back, peaceful warrior. Keeping that integrity in that right, or in that front left knee. Still pulling towards the left little toe. Big inhale here. And on the exhale, come through the T, straighten the left leg, lengthen the torso over that leg to tip into triangle. Beautiful. Pressing the torso slightly back. Left hip is drawing back, right hip drawing forward. One more inhale here. And on the exhale, windmill the hands either side of that front foot, swivel back toes to track straight. This time we're going to step back to plank, bring the knees to the outside edges of the mat, big toes come together, press the hips back. Taking a few breaths in this active child's pose. Jen, if you have a question, go ahead and ask. You can unmute yourself and ask. A couple more breaths in this frog pose. On the next inhale, slowly look forward. Coming back to that table position, knees come under the hips, excuse me. Wag the tail a couple times, neutralizing the spine. And then we'll come back to a center position, and we're going to come onto our bellies. Bringing that right knee off to the right side, you can fold the forearms under the head. And then take a breath or two with that knee off to the side. On the next inhale, slowly raise the head with the upper back, bringing the arms so that the fingertips are facing the top of the mat, and then start to press into that left hand to look over towards that right knee. Hopefully feeling a release on that left hip flexor, left side of the low back. Big inhale here. And on the exhale, bring the torso back to center, fold those forearms under the forehead, straighten the legs, and then we'll switch sides. Left knee comes off to the left side, maybe forehead drops onto the forearms. Couple breaths here. And then slowly start to lift the upper back and the head, bring the arms into that forward position. Pressing into the right hand as you look over towards that left knee. One more inhale here. And on the exhale, release this lizard on a rock. Bring the hands under the shoulders, coming through that table position. You can bring the knees under the hips, wagging the tail a couple times. And then put a cross in the ankles, roll over the legs to start coming down onto your backs. Grabbing your giant imaginary beach ball, controlling the motion of coming down one vertebra at a time. Once you're down, knees come into the chest. You can rock side to side. You make some small circles on that low spine. And we'll come back to a center position. We're going to come right into happy baby, bringing the knees wide, sacrum stays on the mat, grabbing ankles, arches, big toes, rocking side to side. Coming back to that center position, we're going to extend the legs towards the ceiling, interlacing the hands behind the legs if you choose, and then point and flex the feet a couple times. Rotate the ankles in one direction, rotate them in the other direction, and then bring the feet back to stillness. You've got a couple options here. One is to stay in this candlestick. Two is to bring the arms overhead, either in that with the elbows bent or in that Y shape. Or if you're looking for a little bit more today, you can put a bend in the knees, use the elbows for some momentum to bring the feet towards the ceiling to come into a shoulder stand. making sure the weight of the torso is on the shoulders and not on the head or neck. You can use the hands to form a tripod with the elbows to support that low back. Few breaths wherever you're at. If you're in shoulder stand and would like to come into plow, you can start to bring the feet behind you, keeping that low back supported, keeping the weight of the torso in the shoulders. You can also put a bend in the elbows, bringing the knees to the temples. And then when you're ready, start to bend the knees, extending the legs towards the ceiling, and then slowly come down onto your back, planting the feet, bringing the arms along your sides, and we'll come right into a bridge pose, pressing the feet in as you bring the knees and thighs towards each other, lifting the hips up. Abdominals are engaged, shoulders are relaxed. One more inhale here. And on the exhale, release the pose. Draw those knees back in. Take an inhale to bring forehead to knees. And on the exhale, release head, neck, and shoulders. And we're coming into final relaxation, releasing the feet to find the corners of the mat. Arms are along your sides, palms facing up, integrating everything we've done, coming back to the breath and taking rest. Slowly start to deepen the breaths. Gently rolling your head side to side. Wiggle fingers, wiggle the toes. Rotate the wrists and ankles. And sweep the arms overhead, taking a full body wake up stretch from the tips of the fingers all the way through the toes. And roll onto your side. And find your way up to a comfortable seated position. Eyes can be closed, gaze can be down. Bringing the palms together over the heart center. Thumbs are resting on the sternum, the heart chakra. Taking a few more deep cleansing breaths here. Revisiting what your intention was. And taking a few more breaths to reflect on how you can cultivate a kinder and more compassionate self-love and love for others. And I thank you for sharing this practice with each other and with me this morning. And may the light in me honor the light in each of you. Namaste.